Vols are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get it all right now. Everybody worry about the crown being. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Don't hold like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a whole up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gap. Strut like up, and I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Tell them on flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang, but they drop in hit. Say it on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time, don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
You know, I came to as much of a realization as I'm sure everyone else in here did. I had planned to change the intro to this show after episode 100 for season 3 of the Volstar podcast, but it looks like I'll have to do some minor tweaking before episode 100 because seeing him in there just doesn't feel right anymore. I'm sure we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Oi, fellow comrades. This is Squidtard here, as you guys know, as well as my boys Mr. Lucas Sharp and Julio Rodriguez. And welcome to another episode of the Volstar podcast. We do this show every single Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys know the drill around here. If you've been here for a while, then you know the details on that. But if you haven't been around here for a while, then welcome. Volstar podcast open to all of you, whether or not you're a Tennessee fan, and especially even if you aren't a Tennessee fan, you're going to be entertained by what you see every single night here on the podcast. You know what I mean? There's no, I guess, no shortage of insanity over here. That's all I mean. That's the best way of putting it. I guess you guys can agree with me on that.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Shout out real quick to not with a $2 super chat. He says, "Here's some money." Well, I will gladly take it. And while you guys explain how you guys are doing, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the push-ups because it's about time that I started on that. If you can.
Okay.
And we'll go full screen for it. So tell us, Lucas and Julio, how you guys are doing tonight.
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I already told Jackson this, but I'm about to be getting a new job sometime soon. I won't have to be flipping patties like SpongeBob all the time now.
Same as always for me. Mostly just I was literally just in the space talking about it. I wasn't hosting or anything, but
It's 23.
just talking about it.
You guys, I forgot to point the camera down, but you saw enough. You saw enough. And that's all that really matters in this situation. Well, we have got a lot to talk about. And I mean, a lot. This is one of the most jam-packed weeks we've ever had here on the podcast. Because there's a lot to touch on. A lot to touch on. In fact, there's so much we had to touch on that we had to do 2 different podcasts for this week. Obviously, we did one a couple of days ago as well. And, of course, I crashed out over there. So, yeah.
Hey, man, but that was probably the most successful podcast that we've ever done. That was the most consecutive viewers we've ever got. So, thank y'all for that.
Really, thank you. Well, let's do roll call real quick before we continue onward. Levi Hazel, Young Man Connor, fellow channel member. Speaking of which, all of the channel members, I have some great news for you guys. Obviously, I've posted a channel post about it too, but I have finally released the vlog for the Tennessee spring game that me and Lucas and his brother went to, and we had a phenomenal time over there. We even met some of the Vol Twitter people. We met Austin Brown, if you guys know him, over on the Vol Twitter space. We met him. We met Boogie Bentley from Talkin' Vols, and he called out Carolina Jackpot. In fact, I posted just that part alone over on my Twitter page if you guys want to go and see that, because he did. He called out Carolina Jackpot big time. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, and I jokingly said that I'd pay to see Boogie Bentley and Carolina Jackpot take on each other, and for some reason he actually thought I was being serious.
Hey,
But
I would be in full support of it.
I don't care. I'd watch it. I'd pay to see that.
Absolutely, I can't disagree with that. Me being as much of an instigator as I often am, I of course instigated that over on the Twitter page. So check that out if you want. I think you'll like it. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Kenneth Bentley, Matt Doomit, don't call me Dummit, damn it, Michael Martirano, Yoda T, OSU Prods, James Moon. Young man Connor with the $2 super chat. He says Nico's dad getting community noted is dirty work. It's work, all right. I gotta respect that. And Eagle KNX is also here, fellow channel member or moderator, actually, maybe both. But good to see you in here as always. So yeah, nice crowd tonight for the live show. If you guys are watching after the fact, we're glad to have you watching as well. All right, then. Well, let's go ahead and roll into some of our topics for today. And I think everyone, watching or not, knows what we're going to touch on first. This is a very obvious, the biggest news of the week. Probably the biggest news of the week in every single sport across the board. So we'll go ahead and touch on that first. In case you've been living under a rock, you probably still know it if you have been, but we're going to tell you anyway. Starting quarterback of the Tennessee Volunteers, Nico Iamaleava. It took me a while to memorize that and get that down, and now it's pointless. But yes, he has parted ways with the University of Tennessee following a dispute over his name, image, and likeness. The three cursed words, the three cursed initials here in college football, NIL. He sought to renegotiate his $2 million contract, and he wanted, of course, higher payment for his mid-season, which 50 other quarterbacks have had. And, of course, after missing team meetings and basically ghosting everybody, it was just decided by that point onward Josh Heupel would move forward and have a new quarterback. And Nico is no longer a part of this program. We don't have any idea where he's going to end up next. If it were up to me, he'd end up nowhere just to make an example out of him. And while he's, while he is the problem here, I think he needed to be made an example of, because he's a product of the system with the NIL and the NCAA doing what they do. And of course, there's been a lot of misinformation, and in some cases, for the dumbasses over on Twitter that are intentionally putting the fault on Tennessee, it's disinformation. A lot of people are straight up lying about the lawsuit that Tennessee had against the NCAA. That was not the University of Tennessee suing the NCAA. That was the state of Tennessee, the state of Virginia, and the state of Florida. Now, they were all fighting on the behalf of their football programs in the state, but that's still three different states, and most of them are unrelated to whatever happened at Tennessee. But they don't want to. They just want to pretend in their little la-la world that everything's Tennessee's fault, so that they can dump on Tennessee some more. So that not surprising in the slightest there. But yeah, I think we touched on this enough. Now, when we did our last stream, Nico, he of course hadn't shown up to team practice or anything like that, but he never hit the portal, not yet at least. And then of course the day afterwards, going into the spring game, right before the spring game, that's when it was announced that he went ahead and entered the portal. And so I'm really glad he did at that moment, because I would have much rather seen one of our backups come in and be the starting guy rather than see Nico go out there in the spring game just to hit the portal right afterwards.
Nico, you are a Tennessee Tech Golden Eagle.
I think he's a Guangdong Tiger. I think that's what I think.
Either a Guangdong Tiger or a Shanghai Shark.
You're right. One of the two.
Or heck, he might could play for Stephon Marbury's team and trying to be a Beijing Duck, since Oregon was his favorite team growing up.
Well, it's become clear off the bat that not many teams are really interested in getting this absolute nutcase between him and his family and everything else that's happened, with Nico these past few days. Of course, there was interest for. It seemed like there was going to be interest from North Carolina and Bill Belichick of all teams. But guess what? He came out and said no. And if he's doing that, then boy, it's a flat out mess over there. That's all I can really say.
Yeah.
All I'm imagining is that he had one like phone call with his dad and was like, you know what? Nah, I'm good.
I'm like, nah, I'm going to pass on that offer. Appreciate it, but we're going to forward you over to the next guy. So now the next big brand that they're saying he's going to commit to is either UCLA or Tulane. And so we'll have to see what their response to that is, whether or not they say the same thing Bill Belichick did and just be like, we're good. We got our guy.
You guys know who Blue Blood Bias is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we've talked
who
about it
dude, who
several
doesn't?
times on here.
Okay, I mean, I know. Okay, I was making sure, but if anyone doesn't know, bad Twitter account. But anyway,
The
he
Buffalo
showed
Ball
some
Tickler.
Yeah, but he showed some DMs from, Nico's dad, and he was like, "Yeah, a lot of these other programs are offered $4 million and up," and then he said Tulane and others. Like he didn't specify. He just said Tulane and others have offered $4 million, and all that tells me is that it's just Tulane. And I hope that doesn't. I hope it kind of falls through because I want to see what happens if anyone will actually pay it.
Yeah, I think right now, in my opinion, I think Tulane is gonna get Nico.
And I don't even think that's like a good landing spot for him because John Summerall, who is the former Kentucky defensive coordinator, one, he's not a offensive head coach. Two, he's a no-nonsense coach. He's not really a player's coach. Like, he demands a lot out of you.
Now, granted, he is an alum from the University of Kentucky, so you got to take that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, would he be that petty? I doubt it.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. So I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know that.
Nico is about to go to Oregon. He's not going to Oregon.
not
If he
going
was,
to
Dan
Oregon.
Lanning wouldn't have ratted him out.
They've got Dante Moore. I guarantee you,
Not
Dante
not
Moore's
only
a
do
better
they
guy.
got not only do they got Dante Moore, they got Austin Novosad too.
Right now, if
Yeah.
I had to bank on anybody getting him, it would be UCLA because their quarterback room is kind of a complete mess.
Yeah, but like I said before, why would UCLA trust them? They screwed them over. Literally,
Hell
like
if
a
I
couple
know.
months ago.
But the situation there is so bad. You know who their starting quarterback is, or who's supposedly going to be their starting quarterback. None other than everyone's favorite Joey Aguilar from Appalachian State. He hit the portal and committed to UCLA. So, in my opinion, I think UCLA still got their guy. While he's not the best guy, he's certainly a guy.
Yeah.
It's a complete flat-out mess. And Tulane has already picked up 2 quarterbacks from the transfer portal. Now, nobody knows their names. The best one I see here is Donovan Leary, transfer from Illinois. But, I mean,
Hey,
there's not a lot going on.
hey, Nico could go to Iowa. The offensive powerhouse known as Iowa. I'm sure they might take him.
Go to Iowa.
Yeah, imagine getting paid. Well, Iowa doesn't put that much money into the program, but if they did, imagine getting paid $4 million a year to hand the ball off to Iowa running backs, because that's basically what he'd be doing.
Hey, Nico could go to UMass.
Hey, I mean, we paid him $2 million to hand it off to Dylan Sampson while he tries to take the credit for it.
Right. Well, what I do know for certain is whoever does wind up picking him up is going to make a villain out of themselves. So they ought to take that into consideration before making that move. And I'm not just talking about Tennessee. It's not just Tennessee fans who are going to be, against the team that picks him up. It's going to be the college football world in general because it takes a lot. I mean, it takes a lot for rival fan bases, as annoying as they can be, to side with Tennessee fans on any given issue. Any given issue. I mean, like, Tennessee fans could say, like, down with terrorism, and you'd still have opposing fan base be like, oh, no, I disagree with that. But no, somehow they've all become unified on this Nico situation. If he winds up getting into one of these big schools, or any school for that matter that's above a D2, then good luck. Young man Connor with the $2 super chat says, imagine if he goes to an FCS squad.
Hey.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
The one FCS school that I've heard is Sacramento State.
Yeah, hey, think about it like this. He could always go the Cam Newton route and go to Blinn JUCO College.
Mm-hmm.
Blinn Community College.
They play don't forget they play football overseas. So you gotta take that into consideration. So moving away from Nico, we are still gonna keep it on the football conversation, but obviously, like I mentioned before, me and Lucas and his little brother, we all went to the Tennessee spring game on Saturday, and we had a pretty good time. Pretty phenomenal time. You know, I wore my mustard costume, as you guys know. You had a bunch of people going, no, mustard bottle. And, of course, Lucas was cowering behind me in fear because he thought it was embarrassing. So, no surprise there. But we had a great time. Went to the stadium, saw George McIntyre light it up, and saw Jake Merklinger attempt to light it up. So, I don't know. Lucas and his brother are fully convinced that George McIntyre should be the guy. And I'm honestly siding with them on that.
Well, it depends on who we get in the transfer portal. If we go out and get somebody, of course, better, they're probably going to start. But that spring game, George McIntyre looked like the better guy. I mean, I was really impressed with his pocket awareness. I thought he looked comfortable and good in the pocket more than Merklinger did.
Yeah. But people are already on the Avery Johnson to Tennessee train. I take that about as believable as John Gruden to the hill. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have Avery Johnson. I like him. He's a good QB, but I don't see him coming to Tennessee because he grew up a Kansas State fan. I think Kansas State growing up has probably always been his dream team, always his dream school. I don't see him leaving Kansas State.
Yeah, he's one of the few quarterbacks that I feel like is actually loyal to his school. I'll also say the same thing with Sam Levitt. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if this is true, but there was Sam Levitt's from Oregon, and a person that was from Oregon was in one of the spaces I was in, and he was talking about how Levitt was really mad that out of high school, because his dream school wasn't Oregon, it was Oregon State. He grew up an Oregon State fan. And that he was so mad that he didn't get an Oregon State offer that whenever Jonathan Smith, left Oregon State to go to Michigan State, he left Michigan State because he didn't want to be coached by a person that didn't offer him out of high school. And that whenever he went into the portal, and Oregon State offered him, he didn't even take their phone call back. So I don't know. He just seems kind of like a person that is very high on people that believe in him.
Well, tell Josh Heupel that he believes in him.
Yeah. So I hope, maybe we could get him out of there. But
Goob with the great comment. He says, average Julio story. He did say he loves the stories, though, so it's not a jab.
Hey, I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's true. So, I mean, just take it with a grain of salt.
What's going on, Octavian? Yeah, congratulations to your Florida Gators for winning it all in basketball. Good job, buddy.
I wanted to puke.
Yeah,
that made me sad. I'm still sick to this day.
All right, well, some more football news, and we have yet to talk about this, but this was from earlier in the week before, of course, the sun went down and chaos erupted. But Tennessee, as we all knew from earlier in the year, Nebraska ran away like a bunch of cowards. They didn't want to play Tennessee in a home-and-home series. So, thankfully, we finally have our team that came in to be the heroes and fix our schedule for 2026 and 2027. And it's the Ramblin' Wreck from down south. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are renewing the rivalry with Tennessee with the home-and-home series set for 2026 and 2027. Starting with Tennessee taking a trip over down to Atlanta. And it's not we're not going to Mercedes-Benz or anything. We're actually going to their stadium, Bobby Dodd. We're actually going to be playing Georgia Tech in Bobby Dodd. And then Georgia Tech in the 2027 season is going to be traveling upwards to Knoxville. And so I'm really pumped for that one because, as you guys know, it's a historic rivalry. They've only played once in my entire lifetime, and that was that 2017 game, which was an absolutely monstrous nightmare level game that somehow resulted in us winning just in the craziest way possible. So that was spectacular. But it's going to be good to renew this rivalry. Hopefully by this point, both teams will be pretty good. I think Georgia Tech is trending in the right direction under Brent Key. I don't know where Tennessee is going to be under year 5 of Josh Heupel or year 6 once we get to that point. But who knows? Sky's the limit. We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the home and home with Georgia Tech. I mean, like you said, Georgia Tech's an up-and-coming team. I like Brent Key. But, I mean, it shouldn't be. I think we probably got Georgia Tech. I mean, because honestly, Georgia Tech, they don't really have like a good home environment like Nebraska. Although Georgia Tech right now is probably a better team than Nebraska.
Yeah, I agree.
But either way, Sea-Dog, we're coming for you, buddy. Tennessee's about to put the whooping on Georgia Tech.
Think you've seen him mad before. Get ready for when Josh Heupel comes down there and puts the whooping on y'all.
I remember watching the last time we played in 2017, especially the trash can thing, kind of when I knew our season was cooked.
Yes, the trash can.
Yeah, the trash can. Amazing.
Yeah, and
greatest era of Tennessee football right there.
But I remember sitting there watching it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this team is so horrible. We can't tackle anyone." I think Justin Thomas was their quarterback, if I remember correctly. It's like we cannot tackle this kid. Like I don't know, like he's like he's like 5'10", like 180 pounds. I'm like, can someone please tackle him?
Yeah,
like it's not like he's 6'4", 250. Like tackle him.
But
yeah, the triple option. Woo!
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like it was just making me mad watching it. It makes me mad thinking about that game because it shouldn't have been that close.
Yeah, but it's the current year, so things have changed.
Yeah. And Levi Hassel said something about a Vol takeover. Honestly, I don't think we're going to take over Georgia Tech Stadium, but I do think there is going to be a significant amount of Vol fans there because Atlanta's not too far of a drive.
No, it could wound up being a big thing. It could wound up being a big time takeover because I imagine that it's going to be an early season game, like a week 1, week 2 type of game. It could very well be the season opener. And so I think if that's the case, that it winds up being the season over, we could definitely see Tennessee fans travel down there in bulk because I will do my damnedest to be down there as well. So, and yeah, it's only a 3-hour drive from Knoxville.
Oh yeah, if I can, I would try to love to go as well. Well, it's in 2026, so I'm definitely going to try to go. I want to try to go to at least one Tennessee road game in my life.
Besides, it's Georgia Tech. Most of those guys are a bunch of nerds. They're studying for finals 2 months ahead of time instead of, going to any of the football games. So, in terms of attendance, we should run that stadium.
Exactly. The only person who really cares about Georgia Tech football right now is Sea-Dog.
And don't forget Rec Talk. Rec Talk actually just went live too, so I might pop in there after the show's over and tell them what I think.
I like Rec Talk too, but
yeah, I like them both.
Yeah,
they're great guys. They're dedicated to a team that has let them down possibly more times than what Tennessee has seen, especially on YouTube. it's been a dreadful time for both of those guys here on the YouTube, especially C-Dog, because for the first 2 years he was on here, all he was doing was rooting for Georgia Tech and basically everybody that was playing Georgia. and then, of course, Georgia went on to win the titles.
Yeah,
So.
Of course. They're saying Neyland South in the comments, bruh.
Yeah, but the difference is we won't get blown out there.
Yeah, we won't get blown out. And plus, there's less Georgia Tech fans than there are Ohio State fans.
Not only that, we'll have a quarterback that cares about this program.
Yeah, so yeah, if we want to take over Georgia Tech, it'll definitely be a lot easier than taking over Ohio State, which we couldn't even do that. So
we took over what was it, one?
We took over LSU, but that was a noon game. LSU fans don't really show up for noon games.
Well, I mean, I think it looked sort of reminiscent to what we got with Ohio State, where it was like 30-40% Tennessee fans, but it looked way different after the game because one result had Ohio State blowing us out, and then the LSU game, obviously we blew them out. All those fans ran away after halftime.
Yeah.
So.
The only stadiums that Tennessee can now really take over are Vanderbilt and Kentucky.
Right. Nick Roush is mentally unstable, and water's wet, it turns out.
What did he say this time?
I have no idea, but that statement on its own pretty much explains everything. He was like, which is weird. Again, I don't understand. Why are people laughing about Nico leaving? Most of these idiots over here laughing about it are the same people that said he was terrible and never going to lead Tennessee to anything. If anything, you should be upset that he left. It doesn't make sense. First he sucks and he ain't no good, and then the moment he hits the portal and goes somewhere else, now he's good? What? I mean, like, it's proof that dead internet theory is more of a revelation than it is a theory. So let him laugh. Let him laugh. If we're lucky enough, hopefully he'll transfer to one of those schools, but he can't transfer to Kentucky because, unfortunately, that's against SEC rules. Well, there you have it. That's all the info on the football stuff. We'll have more as time progresses. We'll talk about where Nico ends up transferring once he actually does, if at all. Maybe he's done with football. Maybe that's his final destination right there. Leaving Tennessee, nobody's gonna pick him up, and his football career just goes out with a wet fart. I really don't know. I guess we'll find out in due time. Okay, then. Well, let's talk about some of these other sports real quick, shall we? First off, we'll touch on the Lady Vols because we haven't gotten to talk about their season yet. And all I can really say is was a great season for Kim Codwell. The only news that we have for the Lady Vols is that she has agreed to a 1-year contract extension, and rightfully so. This will secure her position through March of 2030. So...
yeah,
that's pretty
deserved.
Good. Right? Pretty good.
Oh, also, we also picked up a transfer from SMU in women's basketball.
That too.
She averaged, I think, 18.5 points a game at her time at SMU.
Something.
So
like
yeah.
Yeah, Nia Robertson, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I know it was Nia something. She averaged 18.5 points a game at SMU. So yeah, I mean, we got something going on right now. For Kim Caldwell's cooking up something. But number one recruiting class coming in. I think the Lady Vols have a chance to be like a top 5 team next year, and I'm being dead serious.
Charlie Cream of ESPN has placed them at number 8 in the way too early top 25, so they're already projected to be a preseason top 10 team next year. So
I'd figured. I mean, we are losing some, but I think we're returning the most of our team, like the majority of our like scorers. And, of course, like I said, we're bringing in the number 1 recruiting class, and then we're bringing in some pretty good transfers. So yeah, I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. Which I mean, with Tennessee women's basketball, it like Julio said, I think on here before, it shouldn't be that hard to rebuild our women's basketball team because of how historic it is and how storied this program is. Because of how Pat Summit built this program. So yeah, I mean it's like Kim Caldwell. She was basically handed like the keys of a Lamborghini. So
pretty much. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that pans out in the future. From this point onward, there won't be much news about basketball probably for a while. So we'll see how it pans out. We'll have some news here and there, maybe some transfer news, stuff like that. But with the season officially hitting the off season now that Florida's won, and unfortunately, Gino Aneurysm has won a title with UConn.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Wasn't able to beat Kim Caldwell, though. Remember that.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't like. I don't know what I hate more. Florida winning the title in men's basketball or UConn winning the title in women's. I don't know what I hate more.
Let's just agree they're mutually bad.
Yeah. It's Hitler, Stalin bad. Good Lord.
I don't know about that. But I guess we'll talk about men's basketball real quick. So really the only news we've got regarding this, two things. Tennessee's finished in the top 5 in the Associated Press Top 25 and USA Today coaches polls, tying the program's best ever finish for the second consecutive year. So pretty good place to end up at. Wish we ended better, but I mean, what can you do? What can you do playing as tough competition as you were in the Elite Eight? Houston basically had that game won against Florida and then just completely fell off the map at the very end. Complete choke job, unlike we've ever seen before, except with Texas Tech and everybody else. And Duke. And Duke, too.
Yeah.
And here's another thing, and this is transfer news. We managed to pick up somebody, a very significant pickup from Belmont. Mr. Jacoby Gillespie, he was from Maryland, and then he committed to Tennessee, and he's expected to fill the point guard role, providing experience and leadership in the backcourt, if you want to say it that way. So that's a huge pickup for the Vols.
I think him and his teammate is one of his
teammates. Rodney Rice. Yeah, we're in like Rodney Rice's top 4. Hopefully Gillespie can convince him to come to the Big Orange as well, because that'd be a pretty nice to get right there too.
I will say the thing is, it doesn't really surprise me with Jacoby after I heard he was from Greenville, so that didn't really surprise me.
Right.
And then I don't know if I was just gonna say, I don't know if we've talked about it on here. We also got Jalen Carey from Vanderbilt, and it was absolutely hilarious because I know one time he tweeted about how he hated Tennessee and that he bled nothing but black and orange. And then he commits to Tennessee and he's like, whatever, all I bleed is orange now.
Yeah.
One had to make somebody mad.
What was it? One of the tweets I saw after Jacoby tweeted out his commitment. This was right after, if anyone knows about the Cali situation.
Oh, yeah.
And since they're from the same, apparently she's from there too.
Yeah, maybe by the end of the week. Maybe by the end of the week, Nico and Callie will be in the same location.
Match made in heaven.
It's just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah.
That's a match made in heaven right there.
They both don't bother to show up.
Right. Basically. All right, so here's some baseball news, and this is a pretty good spot to be. With all of the Nico news going around, everybody, or at least half the Tennessee fan base, sort of forgot that baseball even existed because they were so enamored on whatever was going to happen with Nico. But Tennessee managed to do their job over the weekend, secured a 2-1 series victory over number 6 Ole Miss, and it was a tough bout. They gave us an extremely tough fight. We won the opener 3-2, lost the second game 5-8, and then while it looked like we could choke, Tennessee eventually came back and won 10-8 in the finale. It was a tough battle all the way till the end, but Tennessee holds out, gets the win over Ole Miss. A big-time win that puts us back in the national spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what it was. What was our ranking this week? I know
It
that
was
the money
5.
went back up. Was it 5?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was
That's what I
5.
figured. I know one poll had us at 2 though, and I was like, that's so weird. Why the hell? Why are we back up at 2?
Yeah, we moved up only 1 spot to 4.
Yeah, you got to take all those polls with a grain of salt because some of them are kind of biased against, one team or the other, biased for one team. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas is number 1 now, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, Texas is number 1 right now, and deservedly so.
Yeah, and then did y'all see the tweet the SEC network tweeted out? I mean, they had to delete it because it was wrong, but they were like, "This is the first time a program has started like 12-0 in SEC, 12 straight wins in SEC, SEC conference play or whatever." And then someone said Tennessee literally did that like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something like
Ouch.
that. And then they were like, or something like that, and they finally ended up deleting it and stuff like that. And I was like, oh. But then here's the even funnier thing: they didn't start 12-0. They lost to Kentucky. They lost the second game to Kentucky, so they didn't even start 12-0. They started 11-1.
Nah.
So it was wrong on 2 different things. Which I don't know why they tweeted that out. I don't know if it was just scheduled to be tweeted out and they forgot to take it off the schedule thing.
No offense, but why are we talking about these ringless teams?
What?
That's a good point. Yeah, let's move on, shall we? Here you go. You guys are going to love this. I think everybody's going to love this except a specific fan base. And this is, you wouldn't even have expected this, but it happened. And this is, funny enough, this is, of course, a week after. It's time for change. We got to get Karen Weekly out of the softball program. Squeeze hard. And guess what? She beats Oklahoma. And now, if beating Oklahoma in softball wasn't enough, guess what? Now she did it again, this time against Texas. She beat Texas in softball in the series. Lost the first game 0-3, won the second one, and then won the third one 3-1, and then 4-1. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I think Tennessee softball right now is probably the hottest team in softball. I mean, 2 times in 3 weeks, Tennessee's beaten 2 top 2 teams in Oklahoma and Texas. And not just beating them, but beating them on the road.
Exactly. I mean, that's like, you really got to try hard at doing that, but we damn well tried hard, and that's what matters. Go Vols, baby. I think that's all I know. I don't know about y'all, but I think that's all I know.
Yeah, Carolyn Pickens, she's the best pitcher in softball.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's not that I disagree with you. You're kind of speaking the facts.
I mean, I don't really think there's much of debate, really.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
So shout out to the ladies team. Hopefully they continue this momentum up until we get to the postseason. Because right now they're on a complete roll. So if they can continue that streak, then hell yeah. That's all I can really say about that. We'll be rooting for you in the meantime. Win us a championship. We need it.
TriStar. Right. I thought that I was the best pitcher.
Yeah, we're just gonna ignore that one. Well, all right. Now that we've talked about all the sports, brought up all the topics, we're gonna transition over here. I do have, and I forgot to mention this. In fact, I never even mentioned it at all. We got a special guest in the back room, and he's been waiting in there for a minute. And I figured it was time to bring him in here on the show. So the reason I never said anything about it was I didn't even know we were going to be doing a show today. But of course, I changed my mind last second, and we're back to doing things at a regular time period. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him in just in a minute. First, let me introduce him. So this guy is a guy I've known for a very long time, probably going on 5 to 6 years now. Once I started doing sports content full time, he was one of the guys that I talked to on a regular basis. And not only that, but he did a lot of content making. He doesn't really post all that much often now, but if you guys were around here back in 2018, then I'm certain you know who I'm talking about. A fellow Auburn man is going to be joining us here on the show tonight, and I would love to introduce him as Mr. TigerWarEagle 14. Buddy, how have you been?
Squid, I've been doing great, man. This life's been, up and down, but I'm working on it.
Them's the facts. Good to see you in here, buddy. It's been a very long time. We've known each other since 2018, and it's felt like since then that I've last spoken to you. So glad to see you back here on the YouTubes.
Well, it's great to be back for at least the time being. I do plan on trying to make more content, but of course, like I said, life it's been crazy to say the least. I've been going through a lot. Got a full-time job now, so I'm doing less time on YouTube and trying to focus more on trying to get back maybe. And then I got engaged a couple weeks ago, so there's that.
You are winning at life. Speaking of which, why don't you tell us about that full-time job? What's going on there?
I work at an ice cream plant called Bluebell Creameries. It's a pretty good job.
I'd say.
I just gotten a promotion up to becoming just pulling mix. Basically, I make the ice cream. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about y'all, but I would love to make ice cream as a job.
Hey, it's the best, man.
I'll just settle with doing YouTube. Well, all right. Well, I'm sure you have quite a few. Well, first off, I got to answer this super chat. Frivolette, appreciate the $5 super chat. He says, as a Notre Dame fan, it's absolutely hilarious to me that Nico's agent, his dad, linked Notre Dame, USC, UCLA, North Carolina, Texas Tech, and Tulane, and none of them actually want him. That is extremely funny. Tiger, let's talk about that real quick. What was your initial thoughts on that whole Nico issue?
Not really surprised, but I do want to talk about this whole NIL thing. That's one of the reasons why I really haven't been talking much on YouTube anymore, is because college sports has really taken a turn. I mean, years ago, I thought, okay, at least maybe the reason why all this is going on is because of they're trying to get that video game out, the college football 25, soon to be 26 video game, trying to get players' names in there. But looking back now, I don't know this is not the college athletics I've looked at 6 years ago. Back then, it was all about having heart and grit and determination. And now it's more about
Uh-oh. I think
It's that Auburn Wi-Fi strikes again.
Oh, golly. Hey, you can go talk to Brian Harsin on that. You can go get him for that. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Honestly, looking like now, it's bullshit. And to be honest, excuse me if that's not PG. I'm sorry, but it is. It's pure bullshit the way college athletics is nowadays. I mean, I get why everyone says that this tournament this year in basketball really hadn't been that enjoyable, because there really hadn't been a lot of Cinderellas. I mean, the only one I can think of really was Colorado State, and they probably should have beaten Maryland, in my opinion. But yeah, just going back, looking at this college athletics deal, it's just ridiculous. And the transferring, all this mess, blah, 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 it's just, you might as well call college football or college athletics the minor leagues of pro sports at this point in age, because in my opinion, what they need to do, what the NCAA needs to do, is at least tell a player, if let's say, for example, let's say I'm a quarterback and I'm transferring from Jacksonville State to go to Tennessee. Okay, so if I do that, that's one transfer. If I do it 2 more times, if I get to that third school, I can't transfer anymore. I just think that's just my opinion. And yeah, I'm telling you, I just think college athletics nowadays is nothing like it was 6 years ago.
I mean, you're definitely right about that. It is a complete mess. And about the Nico situation, and this is what I stand by, and I'm sure everybody can agree with me. When you pay,
I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and say this about what Tennessee did. I think they did the right thing by letting him go, because you get beat by Ohio State, you get crumpled by Ohio State, and you want to get paid more? Give me a break.
Yeah, it's a complete mess. Well, when you pay a quarterback $8 million, turns out his loyalty is not to your program, but rather to the bag. So it doesn't surprise me that things wound up like this once you see it all said and done. And it didn't surprise me that it turned out like this and that he wanted more. You know, he had no interest, and this is what we all should have realized, and I'm partly to blame for this too. When you pay a quarterback this much money, that is what he cares about. He doesn't care about the program or the tradition or really anything else. What matters to him is the money, and that's all there is to it. Do you guys know that not only did he want a $4 million raise, he also wanted a Bugatti Chiron, one of the most expensive cars in the world. That alone is $4 million. I mean, it's just mind-numbing to me. But it doesn't surprise me. Fravelinitz, appreciate the $10 super chat. He says, the Nico situation is one example of why NIL is bad. But college football has more parity with it. I do think it's ironic how it's SEC fans who hate on NIL the most now that everyone can pay and not just them. Well, I've always hated NIL. From the very start of it being introduced. I've always hated the idea of NIL and paying players, because now you've got teams with unfair advantages. It does more damage to the sport than people realize. And I don't know if this is like a chess move by the NCAA, but they've basically turned Tennessee into this fall guy type of program now, because you got these idiots who don't know anything about the lawsuits that are saying, oh, this is all Tennessee's fault. All Tennessee's fault. When it was the state of Tennessee, the state of Virginia, and the state of Florida that sued the NCAA. It had nothing to do with the Tennessee Athletics. And even if it did, why in the world would Virginia and Florida get involved if it was all about Tennessee? It wasn't. That's your answer. So you can continue to cry about it and just continue to send us out as the fall guys. But the thing is, I guess the NCAA is capitalizing off of that, because as it turns out, 25% of the college football fan base is brain dead. So I guess that's all there is to it. We'll move along here. Tiger, I did want to ask you, sorry about your Tigers coming up short in the Final Four, but you did make a Final Four, so you got to take that for granted. But what was your thoughts on that situation?
Oh, I mean, to be honest, seeing Florida win, it really didn't surprise me. I really did think they were the best team in the country. I mean, we've been the best team in the country for, 4.5 months of the year. Florida was the best team for like 8.
The Auburn internet strikes again. Being in the plains.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
But anyway.
There it is. All right. There it is.
So anyway, I'm honestly satisfied with how this year went. I mean, you got the most quad one victories. You've got the all-time classic against Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and the other time they played too. I mean, and I give Mark Sears credit for that game-winning shot in Auburn. I mean, that was really a backbreaker for us, but it also got us motivated more to go further in the tournament. And I really thought for a minute we were going to see an Auburn-Alabama national championship game in San Antonio, but it's kind of funny. Y'all ever heard of Charles Barkley talking about San Antonio women, saying big old women down there? Or something like that.
God.
We've heard it. We've heard it.
I made a meme of Kanye West, of him smiling and frowning, and on the top it said, Charles Barkley getting to go watch Auburn in San Antonio, and then also Charles Barkley having to go to San Antonio to watch Auburn play. But anyway, you got most quad one victories. You got SEC regular season championship, number 1 overall seed, the most wins in school history. You beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa at the most historic SEC basketball game ever played, number 1 versus number 2. And then I hate to bring it up, Squid, but that instant classic against Tennessee, that rock fight in Auburn, like that was probably one of the best basketball games I've ever seen.
It was a great game. Can't argue with that.
It was. Also, when we played in the SEC tournament, that was another good game right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I knew I think Auburn needed one win in the SEC tournament to get that number 1 overall seed. Like beating Ole Miss, probably got it, and then just losing to Tennessee by that much really wasn't that bad. So
yeah, y'all had the 1 seed clinch regardless. I was confident in that even when I went into the tournament. So beating y'all, while it was great, I think we needed that a whole lot more than anybody else. Really, our only shot of getting a 1 seed was actually by winning the tournament. And unfortunately, we came up short against the eventual national champions. And y'all had Florida for a majority of that game. You did. You had Florida. It looked like y'all were gonna come out with the W.
It's just when we were up by 9, and I'm looking at the clock of like 12 and a half minutes left. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if my camera's glitching or not, but I don't know. Can y'all still hear me?
We can hear you, but
okay.
We can't see. I mean, you're just kind of frozen like a statue.
That's that Auburn internet. My bad. Anyway, but I'm looking at the clock, 12 and a half minutes left, and I'm looking at the score. I'm telling my fiance, look, I'm telling you, Florida's going to make another run right here. Sure enough, bam, 3-pointer. Bam, 3-pointer. Bam, 3-pointer.
When Walter Clayton gets
legend.
on, he's a machine.
Guy.
Yeah.
When you better not let him get high, because I think he had 27, 30 points against Auburn, which is, if you take those points away, Auburn destroys Florida. But overall, I'm satisfied with how we played this year. I just wish we could have finished Florida off because we had them on the ropes. We just couldn't finish.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. For Avaledits, appreciate the $5 super chat. He says, by the way, not sure how true it is, but there are serious conversations about Baylor quarterback Sawyer Robertson entering the portal in Tennessee as the expected leader. Well, if that were to happen, I would not mind it in the slightest. I think Sawyer Robinson is a very good quarterback.
Yeah, if we get Sawyer or Robertson, he's probably going to be the starter.
Well, he was, he led, in several games. He had, 500 yards total in a lot of his games. Because he's a dual threat. He can run the ball, pass the ball. If we get a guy like that, a seasoned veteran under this Josh Heupel offense, I would absolutely love that. But, again, rumors are rumors at the end of the day. So, I take that as about as seriously as somebody saying, breaking news, Peyton Manning comes out of retirement to come play another season for Tennessee because turns out he has a missing year of eligibility from God knows where. So here he is. No, I don't expect much out of it.
I just got a notification on my phone from X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it.
Call it
and
Twitter.
Jaden Ott entered the portal.
Yes, Jaden Ott, the Cal running back, has entered the portal.
Wow, there's going to be a lot of teams that go after him. He was one of the best running backs in college football last year.
That is, it has zero relevance on what we're doing at Tennessee since we already got Star Thomas, but who knows? Who knows what could happen?
I just
start Thomas back and go all in on Jaden Ott.
Yeah. What about Auburn? Maybe Auburn could get him.
Hey, I was just letting.
I'm sorry, I stepped away. Who are we talking about now?
Jaden Ott, Cal running back. He just hit the transfer portal, and he
Jaden Ott.
He did beat y'all, so I think that would be a big pickup for Auburn.
Well, hey, he did say there's nothing special about Auburn, so I don't think we're going to need him.
Oh, never mind.
If y'all remember in 2023 when he was being interviewed about Auburn before he went out to California, he said there was nothing special about us. So I really don't think we'll need him.
All I was mentioning it for is just because I figured, well, I know we're mostly a Tennessee podcast, but I figured people also care about college football and stuff. So I figured,
right, a lot of people are on here for, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. I mean, Jaden Ott was, like I said, was one of the best running backs in college football last year.
Yeah, he pisses me off in college football 25. He was the bane of my existence in my New Mexico State dynasty.
I will say though, if I'm the Auburn man, I would absolutely be in support of Sawyer Robinson hitting the portal and coming to Tennessee, because that means you don't have to play him. That means you don't have to play him for your season opener. Auburn has to travel to Baylor on a Friday to start out the season. That's going to be a tough
And
bout
I
for
probably
anybody.
have to work high school football on the radio, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I think, you know what? Since you're here, you want to go through Auburn's schedule, give us a prediction of where you think they'll lie in this season.
Yeah,
I'm
we can
sure
do that.
you got some
We'll go ahead.
takes. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Wait, this is a fun part. I love doing this. Let me go ahead and roll up the display. Bam. That you
God,
guys
this is
should be
back
able to see
when
it.
this brings back memories when I was single.
Are you? Oh, bruh. Colorado retired number 2 and number
Yes.
12.
Yeah,
I
we
saw that. I
yeah.
literally just saw that just now.
Travis
Oh, yeah,
Hunter, I
hold up.
get. I understand Travis
Yeah.
Hunter, but Shador?
Shador, he didn't do much at all, in my opinion. So.
That was definitely a Dion decision. That was not anything to do with anybody else
No
other
doubt.
than Dion.
I mean, yeah, Hunter. I mean, because wasn't Travis Hunter Colorado's first ever Heisman, or was he their second?
He was their second.
He was
Rashawn-
second.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
Rashawn Salam, I think, was their first
Yeah.
one.
yeah, I can understand retiring Travis Hunter's jersey because, well, he won the Heisman, but Shador?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Crazy stuff.
Next thing you know, Shallow's gonna get his retired.
Sorry about the echo. I know it's probably going to start echoing. My headphones died. So.
Well, just make sure to mute up when it happens. All right. Well, here's Auburn's schedule for 2025, and it's quite the doozy. As you guys know, this is obviously a make it or break it year for Hugh Freeze. If Hugh Freeze winds up, crap in the bed this time, you can probably kiss him bye-bye, and he can go on to coach at whatever group of 5 school he decides to coach next.
Too bad Tennessee's not on the schedule. We'd find a way to save his job.
Right, that is true. Behold, the reason Hugh Freeze still has a job. All right, well, Auburn's schedule, absolutely monstrous, I will say so. So, starting out, they've got to go to Waco to face off against the Baylor Bears. And unless Sawyer Robinson hits the portal, that's who they're going to be facing. So, what are the odds they pull out the dub in that one?
I mean, with the guys we got coming back, and we got some, and the guys we have coming in, of course, Jackson Arnold's one of the big names on our team. Deuce Knight, another big name coming in as a signee. I'm sure he's got some experience. He's got experience. I think we're going to give him the start. Now, if Jackson starts, I mean, and I'll go ahead and say this. Everybody that said, oh, Jackson Arnold, I don't know why we got him. He sucked at Oklahoma. You know why he sucked at Oklahoma? Because all of his receivers were injured. That's what everyone doesn't understand. Oklahoma was like a bird without wings for like 6 weeks. They couldn't do anything with Jackson Arnold without a good line and without any receivers. But if he starts, I can see us beating Baylor because I watched Baylor against LSU. They do not have a defense at all. So I'll be shocked if our defense don't tighten up against this Big 12 offense.
Also,
but I can see us beating Baylor.
Dave Aranda doesn't really do too well at the start of the season. He's kind of like Shane Beamer in the sense that he does better after he's dug himself into a hole.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to move on. Ball State and South Alabama, both of those obviously should be wins. If Auburn even struggles against either one of those teams, it's going to be a really, really tough stretch the rest of the way.
I can see us struggling to South Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see us struggling to South Alabama because one, you don't want to have to pull the 2015 Jacksonville State game again. So I'm sure they're going to be ready this time, but I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle to South Alabama because this is their Super Bowl. I mean, this is the first time playing against an in-state opponent FBS team like Auburn or Alabama or they played UAB, but this is their first time playing against big-time state of Alabama team like Auburn. So I wouldn't be surprised if South Alabama kept it close for a while.
Well,
Very
good
true.
news. Gio Lopez entered the portal, so you won't be facing him.
That is very true. Gio Lopez is pretty good, so that is a good break for the barn right there. All right. The next up, your next SEC test, the first test of the season, a road test going on the road into Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold traveling to his former school. This is obviously going to be a packed out crowd. You think Auburn's going to win this one?
I could see it happening, but because one, I mean, obviously Jackson Arnold, he's got experience playing at Oklahoma, so I expect it to be close. And besides, it's a game that we should have won last year. We were up by like 12-13 with like 5 minutes left in the game, and then Peyton Thorns on a pick six. So I think this team is going to be ready this time. They're going to come in with revenge on their mind, and I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they'll take care of business against Oklahoma, but I think it's going to be very close. So I wouldn't be surprised if this game becomes close in the end.
All right. Speaking of which, after that one, you travel into Texas A&M College Station. We all remember the game last year, that absolute shootout that Auburn put up on A&M. Nearly put up half 100, beating them, I believe, in overtime. A really incredible game to watch, but it's going to be a tough battle on the road. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, this one will be a tough one because A&M is pissed at us for stealing their shine last year because, obviously their coach looked ahead saying we're preparing for Texas, and then he changed his mind saying, "Oh, I meant Auburn." So he looked ahead. So that's one thing A&M screwed up on is having Mike Elko or whatever his name is, saying overlooking us. So all I can say is do not overlook us at all. But I think it's gonna be close. I see Auburn winning at A&M. If they don't, I wouldn't be surprised because A&M is looking for revenge.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. After that bye week, you face off against the Georgia Bulldogs at home. Going to be a tough bout for anybody, Georgia, with that defense they've got. But the quarterback situation is a complete unknown at this point. We have no idea what that's going to look like in August. So based off of that much, do you think Auburn might have a chance in this one?
I can see us having a good chance. I don't know necessarily that we'll win. I say if we lose, it's probably going to be by at least a touchdown, maybe 10 points. I don't know, but unless we can somehow find a running game against Georgia, because for years our bread and butter has always been the running game. You can't stop the run if you're playing against Auburn because the running backs over the years have been so tough, like Jarquez Hunter. So but I do see Georgia somehow pulling out the win.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Right. Now, after Georgia, this stretch of games right here, this 4-game stretch, I think is really going to determine the future of Hugh Freeze at the barn. Because these are 4 very winnable games on the schedule right here. Missouri at home, Arkansas on the road, Kentucky at home, and then Vandy in Nashville. These are all very winnable games for Auburn. And while I don't think they'll go 4-0, if you get somewhere around the range of 3-1 here, it's going to be pretty good for Auburn. But what do you think? Where do you think they'll end up in that stretch?
Is Drew Lock coming back to Missouri?
No.
Okay,
No.
so
Drew Lock's
don't-
been out of Missouri for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in
Oh,
the
no, I'm sorry.
NFL.
You're thinking of
Whoever-
Brady Cook, and no, he's not coming
whoever-
back either.
Yeah, pretty.
They got Drew Pine from Penn
That's what I
State.
meant. See, Missouri's
Pine.
got weird quarterback names that makes me think, oh, that's the same guy's name, or there's a different guy, but he's kind of got the same name. But I mean, I can see us beating Missouri. We need to beat them after last year's heartbreaker. We should have won that game. Arkansas, I don't even know who they got coming back. I think we can win to Arkansas. Kentucky, I don't know. I do think that'd be a close game. And then Vanderbilt we all know Diego Pavia is back again.
Ain't the hold up. Oh, I was just gonna say, ain't the Vandy Auburn all-time series? Ain't it tied?
Auburn was in the lead, and now it's tied.
Now
yes.
it's tied.
Oh God.
And Vanderbilt just recently got their first ever win in Auburn. I don't know if y'all knew that.
Yeah, this is a very pivotal game right here for him. Because don't forget, Diego Pavia is 3-0 against Auburn.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, because he's going for the clean sweep against Hugh. If if we can't beat Diego this time around, just go ahead and say it. Diego Pavia is the greatest, the Johnny Manziel of the NIL era of the SEC.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll also say that Vanderbilt owns Auburn.
Kentucky's
yes,
pretty interesting too. Kentucky's a pretty interesting one as well because you know who their quarterback is for this one, Zach Calzada. That's right.
The Calzone.
Zach
Calzone.
Zach,
wait, dang, where was he from? I can't remember.
Well, he
At
was
the Italian Hawk Pocket.
Yeah, he was at A&M. He was at Auburn at one point.
Oh yes,
too, right?
Yes, I remember now very vividly. Yes. So I can see us maybe going. I can see us going 4-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lose to Vanderbilt. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there because Diego Pavia knows how to draw personal fouls. He knows how to get away from tackles. He's just that squirrely. So you have to contain him at any cost and try to make sure you don't throw the ball. So I mean that's all I could say about Vanderbilt, man. It's gonna be hard to contain him, but I do see us winning at Vanderbilt.
All right, and then after that you play whatever that is, the Bears.
Mercer.
If it were me, I wish it was the Chicago Bears. They probably suck even worse. But after that, you go into the Iron Bowl against the big rival, the Alabama Crimson Tide, who obviously very tough season last year for them. Really tough pill to swallow. Didn't make the 12-team playoffs. Kalen DeBoer goes out, loses to Michigan. First 4-loss season in a very long time for Alabama. And so they're having a very difficult time adjusting. Do you think they'll be better or worse going into this year?
I could see Bama being better, but you know how it always goes when you play the Iron Bowl, especially in Auburn. It's always a crapshoot. It's always anybody's ball game. You can have some weird crap going on. You could have a kick six. You could have a grave digger. You could have this and that. But I can see us winning this game. I can see both teams being very good. I actually see Auburn going into this game with one loss. That one loss, of course, to Georgia. And I can see that this game, whoever wins this game, will probably go play Georgia for the SEC championship if Georgia were to get there. So, golly, I want to say we win against Alabama. It just depends on how good we are at this point of the season and how motivated we are. So I can see us coming out here with a win because, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen at Jordan-Hare.
That is very true.
Ask A&M. Ask Texas A&M.
Very true. Goob's in the chat still. He can tell you all about it. Well, after going through all of that, what would you say would be your projected record for Auburn going into this year?
I mean, I honestly – I can say 11-1, but maybe 10-2, and the only losses could probably be the Georgia and Oklahoma because Oklahoma, we've never played Oklahoma. We don't know what it's going to be like there. We've never played there, and so
10-2.
Yeah, I can see 10-2 or 9-3. Honestly, we're going to be so much better than we were the last 5 years because I'll say it, the last 5 years for us have been hell. Let's just say that.
Well, I'm not gonna say that we're stupid and you're wrong, but that is quite a bit more optimistic than I was expecting. I'll say that much. We'll see how it goes, but you're talking about if you lose to Oklahoma, that means you got to beat either Georgia or Alabama because you're talking about Vanderbilt too. Like what would you say would be the two losses if you went 10-2?
Oh, I was gonna say either Oklahoma or Vanderbilt, and then Georgia. That's just my outlook at it.
Wow. Wow.
Not 10-2 or 9-3. That is a lot better than going 6-5, 6-6, 6-7, 5-7.
I don't disagree. I'd be ecstatic if I were an Auburn fan and y'all went 10-2 this season. That's all I can really say about that. I think by that point, you're talking about a 5-year extension for Hugh Freeze. Because at 10-2, 10-2 would be good enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right.
And probably if things stretch out for you, I mean, we saw like we saw a 10-2 Georgia make the SEC championship. So if things pan out in your direction, you could wound up making the SEC championship in that case.
I mean, it's the way the college football playoff is now. I mean, heck, they could choose an at-large SEC team.
God, we need to get Jared here on the show. Jared, the Vandy fan, we desperately need to get him back here on the show. Because I got it. You know, Jared's on the train that Vandy's beating Alabama again this year. So
oh boy,
I would love to see his highly optimistic ass go up against you, talking about Vandy versus Auburn.
I know he'd probably come on here and say that Vandy's going 16-0.
Y'all got to win this, by the way, because if not, then y'all have a losing record to Vandy.
We've actually had a losing record to Vandy at one point.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I was just saying y'all took the lead and then they tied it back up this year. So
it's better than trailing them.
Right. That's insane.
I mean, Texas. I'm pretty sure Texas is. I'm pretty sure. Wait, no, the series is tied between Texas and Vandy now.
no, it's not.
It's not?
Vandy's up by like 4.
Oh.
Yeah. Go Vols says, I'm reading the Bible during this. Well, it's always good to read up on the Lord. And I'm not talking about Danny White. Not here in this context. But yeah, anyway, I mean, if Auburn went 10-2, I think that would be a pretty good nomination for most improved team of the season. So
yeah, Hugh Freeze would probably win Coach of the Year if that happened.
Oh yeah, big time. Unless there's something absolutely crazy happened to another team, like you had an Arizona State or TCU situation, because it all sort of depends on what happens with the Big 12. Because the way things pan out right now, it's looking like Utah is going to somehow make the playoffs and win a playoff game because there's the Big 12. I mean, like, who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knowing Auburn's luck, though, I've got a feeling that team that's going to come out of nowhere and start winning a bunch of games is going to be Baylor.
We should, with the roster we've got and the people coming back. Jackson Arnold, Deuce Knight. We got a good roster. We should be good enough to go 10-2 or 9-3 at least, something like that, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Let's see. I check on these comments real quick. Jeremy Johnson says, if Auburn goes 10-2, I will donate $50 to the channel. Well, I mean, go Auburn, go War Tiger, yeah.
War Eagle.
Yeah, let's go. Go Eagle, War Tiger. Yo Man Connor says 3-9. Jeremy Johnson says I would be pleased if Auburn went 8-4. Goob says 7-5. Jeremy Johnson says 8-4 or 7-5. Floby says Auburn has choked the last 2 times they played Bama at Auburn. It is very true. Very, very true statement. But they both were really close games.
Man.
And we have yet to see what Kalen DeBozo looks like at Auburn. So anything can happen.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another reason why I think we'll have a chance to win is because he has not experienced the Iron Bowl in Auburn yet. He's fixing to find out.
That is true. Very, very true.
I mean, ask Nick Saban his first time in the Iron Bowl, 07. It was 6 in a row. The 6 in a row game. God, take me back. Take me back.
Take me back. Take me back to the good times. That's right.
Yes.
I mean, ever since you've been here on YouTube, I mean, what was Auburn's best year?
2019. That year we went 9-3. I believe, or 10, whichever one it was. We beat Alabama in a high scoring shootout. They had Mac Jones and not Bo Scarborough, it was somebody else. Najee Harris. Yeah. That's who it was. Yeah, but that was a 48-45 type of shootout, like a Big 12 game.
Well, Tua was starting in that game, even though they had Mac.
No, he didn't start. No. Tua did not start. He got hurt in the Mississippi State game.
Oh, that's right. You're right about that. I kind of forgot. He was a
Nick left him out.
He was like a Cam Rising.
Left him out too long.
He was like a Cam Rising perennial victim of the injury bug.
Oh yeah. I know 2017 was also another good year for Auburn because they beat Georgia and Alabama like 2 times in the last 3 weeks when Georgia and Alabama was both #1, and Auburn made the
And then
SEC title game.
And then we got gobsmacked by Georgia in the SEC championship.
Yeah, and then he lost to UCF in the bowl game.
Yeah, Central Florida in the national championship game.
Yeah, in the national championship game.
Well, per se.
Yeah. Well, I can't really smack talk about that national championship because, well, Danny White was UCF's athletic director at the time, and he claimed that national championship for UCF, and he's our athletic director now.
Floby says, "Hey TigerWarEagle, I'll always thank you for beating Bama in 2019 because I'm an LSU fan and didn't want 2011 to repeat itself."
Well, by all means, we appreciate your thanks.
Well, I mean, y'all are rivals, but it's kind of like us and Georgia Tech now that we're playing, where we can both agree that we hate Georgia and hope they lose every game.
Oh yeah.
Which is very true. I do hope they lose every game.
Oh, fun fact. Me and a friend of mine, last season we went to Georgia Tech and Miami. The Georgia Tech-Miami game.
Oh, you did? That had to be a fun experience.
I just wanted to find something else to cheer for. I knew Auburn was having a down year all the past couple of years. So I thought, I'm going to go somewhere else to, a more positive type of atmosphere. And Georgia Tech was pretty fun. So,
well, we'll be heading there in 2026. Down to Bobby.
I might go to that game.
Well, you better
unless they decide to move it to Mercedes-Benz.
They shouldn't.
I don't think they will.
Because when you think about it, they could host Notre Dame at Georgia Tech, but they couldn't. They had to go move it to.
They had to move it to somewhere. That's the secret we'll all be waiting on. Well, I know this for a fact. If you wound up going to the Georgia Tech game, my only hope is that you know that I'm there, and if I do go, you'll know I'm there because I'll definitely be wearing the mustard costume. That's just a thing now. We do. I wear the mustard costume in every single. I don't know. I don't even know why he's upset like that. Dummy over there doesn't even know if he's going or not, but for whatever reason, he's mad about it.
I'm not mad about it.
You are. You were. You did. Like that was completely unnecessary for somebody that wasn't going.
Bro, you don't even know if I'm going or not.
I bet you are.
I might be playing. I really want to go to the Oklahoma game so bad. I mean, I went last year, but I want to go experience a new member like Oklahoma. Like that is a place to go.
Right. I did go when I first debuted the mustard costume as like a thing that I wore. I went down to Athens for the Tennessee-Georgia game. There's a whole vlog about it over on the for channel members. Yeah, and you're a channel member, right?
I should be.
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, you're. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're on the list of people. Actually, no, I think you unsubscribed from that, and then, yeah. It do be what it do be, but point still stands. I went to that, and it was absolutely brutal. It was a great environment. Great environment. Sanford Stadium was loud and crazy and fun, except for that one drunk Georgia fan who tried to smack the hat off of me, but he got what he got coming to him, which was feeling bad about doing so. So,
well, hey, it's how it goes in their little song, drunk, obnoxious. Drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.
That is very true. Well, it's 9:18. We got to go ahead and put a wraps on this show. TigerWarEagle, appreciate you for being on here with us tonight. Really.
This was fun. Hey, we need to do this again next week or at some point in the future. This brought back some memories, and I'd like to do it again.
We do it every week at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. We'll try and have you on as a guest sometime before the end of the off season, so that you can give your full-fledged Auburn predictions and talk about the upcoming season. Because by the point we reach, July and August, we'll know a lot more about where our team stands than what we do now.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Again, man, I appreciate you for being on here. You're a real one, TigerWarEagle. What you got coming up for the peoples, if anything?
If you guys watch, have you ever watched the United Football League? If you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, watch it. I'm there for every Birmingham home game. Of course, the Stallions, they're the 3-time defending champions, 2 times pre-merger with the USFL, and now you got the United Football League, and they won that last year when they merged with the XFL conference or XFL League. So now they're going for their 4th consecutive championship in a row. And of course, our main rivals are Memphis. One of our main rivals is Memphis. So, like you'll see me in every game. I'm wearing shoulder pads and a cowboy hat. You'll be able to recognize me. You'll say, "Hey, that's TigerWarEagle 14 up there."
One thing I will say, I was just gonna say one thing I will say is that if you guys have watched College Game Day before, I mean, obviously you've watched College Game Day, but if you've seen the Birmingham Stallions logo on a flag,
that's me. That's me. That's
him.
Me.
That is him right there. He's the one that did that. The Birmingham Stallions logo flag on College Game Day, that's all him.
Which, by the way, they are coached by Lou Holtz's son, Skip.
The more you know. And I'm sure Ryan Day would love to know where he's at. Well,
hey, when you get a chance, hey, y'all gotta watch it, man. Tune in. It's fun. I mean, yeah, the stands aren't full like you would expect for college football or anything, but it's a minor league football system. It don't matter how many people are in the stands, but you just gotta watch. It's fun.
That's right. That's the truth. Well, Tiger, appreciate you for being on, man. Really do appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you on next time. And good luck to your Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, I hope we get a lot of luck on our side. We're doing good in baseball, but I'm ready to see what football looks like.
Ain't that for certain, man. Well, peace to you, brother, and we'll have you on sooner or later again.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you. Love you, brother.
All right. Love you too, man.
That was none other than Mr. TigerWarEagle, Auburn man, great guy. Looking for, I would love to see him come back on YouTube full time, but we'll see how that goes. All right, well, I've got some push-ups to do, but in the meantime, Lucas, Julio, you want to tell us what's going on with y'all, Twitter Spaces, upcoming videos, anything like that? Let us know about it.
All right, well, I guess make sure you guys go subscribe to me, Wolverine, and make sure you go follow me on Twitter. We're trying to get to 1.5K followers on Twitter. And yeah, I have a new video I'm trying to work on. I've been working on it for quite some time now. Hopefully I can try to get it out as soon as I can. Yeah, I want to try to do YouTube as, of course, not a full-time job, but more like a part-time job. I want to try to make YouTube part of my life. I want to try to put more into YouTube because, I mean, hey, it's working out well for Squid right now. Why couldn't it work out well for me?
Give it time. Julio, anything with you?
None really. Mostly probably just be back on Twitter more. Mostly since of what happened with Nico, just following that. So if you want to join a space I'm in or when I'm hosting, just see if I'm on there.
Oh yeah, make sure you go follow. Make sure you go follow him. His Twitter link's in the description, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, make sure you go follow him, and make sure you go follow me on Twitter as well. I'm trying to get to 1.5K followers.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, that's going to put a wrap on tonight's show. Big crowd tonight. A lot of people in here. The show is ever growing, and the channel is ever growing. We are very, very close now. Let's see. We're at 9.83K. We are very, very close to hitting that big 10,000 subscriber mark. And I've got a lot of things planned for you guys once we get there. So if you haven't already, tell a friend about this channel. Let him know about Squidtard Sports. Get him to subscribe to the channel. We got to get to 10K as soon as possible. All of you guys are awesome. I love each and every one of you. Thank you all for taking the time to be on here tonight. And we'll see you all again next Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you all again for watching. For Mr. Nico Iamaleava, I got one message for you, and hopefully the soundbite will play. We got a delay, so I'm gonna let it load. let it load. It's there it is. Yeah, Nico, I'm gonna leave you. You can officially. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to add more sound bites in the future. I've still got these stingers like this one right here, which is a great stinger, by the way. Love that one. Love that one. All right, guys. We'll see you all next week. Unless if you're on Tard Area Tuesdays, we're going to be doing that tomorrow too. So over on the main channel, we got Tard Area Tuesdays. If y'all want to check in on that, we'll be continuing the Dynasty stream on Saturday, and I'll make it extra long since I missed out this past week due to Nico's stuff. And that's all there is to it. Until the next video, I'll see you guys next time. And as always, power to Tard Area, and of course, go Vols!